Today, I'm gonna go over 35 surprising Pokedex entries for Pokemon Legends Arceus. Let's do this. Typhlosion, said to purify lost forsaken souls with his flames and guide them to the afterlife. I believe his form has been influenced by the energy of the sacred mountain towering at Hisui's center. That's pretty cool actually. I wonder if Hisui and Typhlosions and Dusknoirs tag along and guide souls to the afterlife, because Dusknoir's Pokedex entry states that it also guides souls to the afterlife. And no wonder Typhlosion has that smirk on his face. It is constantly being purified by his flame, so it's constantly high. Bidoof has an unsophisticated phase and is really flustered by anything. There have been incidents involving Bidoof sauntering into villages and gnawing on the houses without a single care. So it seems that people were making fun of Bidoof even back in this day, because they're basically saying that it's dumb. And that would actually suck, waking up to a Bidoof just gnawing on your house that you built from the ground up with your bare hands. It seems that Bidoof has been hated for quite a while now. Bibarel's fur repels water and is also fantastic material for heat retention. These Pokemon create dams on rivers to live in. So this basically confirms that Bibarel are actually hunted by humans for their fur and are worn on them. It makes me suspicious of what Volo's jacket is made out of, especially the neck part. Or even Commander's Kamado's jacket. Inside of it looks like Bibarel fur. Or even our own jacket. Oh god. Starly. They live in the fields and mountains gathering in large flocks. Their cries are quite obnoxious. Though small, their wings are strong. A strike from them leaves pain that persists for a week. Dang, this makes Starly seem like a very annoying Pokemon. It might just take the cake as the most obnoxious Route 1 Pokemon above Pidgey and his Sand Attack. Drifloon, said to lure away young children and carry them off to the afterlife. Some whisper that Drifloon are formed by reincarnated human souls, but these rumors are as yet unconfirmed. I would say those rumors are pretty much confirmed, and this will make Drifloon the 6th Pokemon to ever be revealed as a Pokemon that was once a human. And I mean specifically revealed as a human in their Pokedex, because Pokemon like Spiritomb and Sandygast just mentioned that there are souls that became a Pokemon, not a human soul. Snorlax. This glutton appears in villages without warning and devours the entirety of their rice granaries. Such occurrences have been long counted among the gravest of disasters. So basically, present-day Snorlax is a cuddly large bear that we all love. But back in these days, it was a nightmare-inducing demon that would potentially cause you to starve to death because it ate all your food. Raichu. It can discharge bursts of electricity exceeding 100,000 volts. A single strike with that amount of power would incapacitate one of the Capriya of my homeland. This one is very interesting because it might be a hint to the next region being India. Because in Raichu's Fire Red Pokedex entry, it states that it can make Indian elephants faint. But here it says Capriya of Professor Laventon's homeland. And it wouldn't surprise me if Professor Laventon was an ancestor of Rahan, and Rahan is a Hindu name, so all these things just point to India being the next region. Cleaver, a violent creature that fells towering trees with its crude axes and shields itself with its hard stone. If one should chance upon this Pokemon in the wild, one's only recourse is to flee. So basically Cleaver is the guardian equivalent of Legends Arceus, and those things from Breath of the Wild were just nightmare fuel. Roselia. Though beautiful, it has highly poisonous thorns. There is an old tradition in my homeland wherein one would send these horns to an opponent to challenge them to a duel. This sounds a lot like throwing down the gauntlet, where basically a knight would throw down their gloves at someone's feet, and if they picked it up, they would duel. So I guess in the Pokemon world, if you throw down a Roselia, or at least its rose, that's how you would challenge someone to a duel. It would pretty much look like this. Yeah. Ah, that stinks. Ow. Tangela. It is cloaked entirely in blue vines, preventing any glimpse of its true identity. The vines impart a refreshing sensation when chewed. They're useful as a spice. So I guess mark down Tangela as another Pokemon that humans eat, along with Magikarp, Kingler, Slowpoke Tails, or even Appletun. You know, that actually sounds like a pretty good meal, like cook some Magikarp with some Tangela spice and top it off with an Appletun pie. Now I low-key want to eat some Pokemon. Pachirisu, a species related to the Pikachu line. Though Pachirisu is a calm Pokemon, it still presents a danger should one touch its electrified tail or cheeks. This is pretty cool. They actually confirmed that these two Pokemon are related, and I wonder what the common ancestor between the two are. And I would assume this also confirms that all the other Pikachu clones are relative of Pikachu as well, like Puzzle and Maiden or even Emolga. I wonder what the original Pokemon that had the circles on the cheeks looked like. I'm really curious. Togetic. No records exist of Togetic being seen in the wilds. Rumors around that it evolves under the loving care of a trusted human companion, upon whom the Pokemon then bestows great joy. I wonder if the reason why we see no Togetic in the wild is because they're all chilling in Togepi's paradise. You know, the place where Misty released her Togetic to so that it can protect the land. Because apparently all Togepi evolutions go there once they complete their life's mission, so maybe that's why. Porygon. It has no discernible heartbeat and does not seem to draw breath, and yet it appears to function without issue. I cannot even begin to explain the utterly bizarre anomaly. I absolutely love this Pokedex entry because this would just be a mind back in those days. Gengar possesses potential victims' shadows in an effort to steal away the victims' lives. If your shadow begins to laugh, you must take hold of a protective charm post-haste. Wow, that is actually terrifying. Looking back at your shadow and seeing it laugh at you is like Full Metal Alchemist scary. And the more Pokedex entries that come out, the more I'm surprised that Gengar is in a dark type because it's clearly an evil Pokemon. It's trying to kill all the humans. Murkrow, widely shunned as a bearer of ill fortune. Upon crossing paths with this creature, I've been told one must chant Workrum, bad luck, don't come, as a protective incantation. So basically, alright, playing Pokemon Crystal. Let's see what we can capture in this patch of grass. I'm sure it's gonna be nothing, right? Oh my god! Oh my god! Workrum, bad luck, don't come, take the sacrifice! Workrum! Remoraid spits water from its mouth with incredible accuracy. It captures Burmy by shooting them down off the branches from which they dangle. Jesus, that sounds terrifying for the Burmy. Imagine you're just chilling on your branch and then all of a sudden you're hit by a squirt of water and falling to your death. Dusclops. There are rumors that peeking inside his bandaged rat body will cause one to get pulled in through the gas between the bandages, never to return. I've been too scared to verify. Yeah, I don't blame you, Professor Laventon. I'd be too scared to verify as well. That just sounds awful. And it seems that someone did eventually test it out because in his first Pokedex entry, it states that his body is completely hollow and that nothing's inside of it. So basically, Dusclops is Kirby. It swallows you whole and puts you inside of a pocket dimension inside of his belly. Dusknoir comes to those whose lives have come to an end and escorts their souls to the afterlife, known to mistakenly take the souls of those who yet have life left in them, albeit rarely. Even if it happens rarely, that's awful. Like, imagine being that guy who's so unlucky that Dusknoir takes your soul mistakenly. Maybe that's what happened to the ghost girl in Pokemon X and Y. Maybe her soul wasn't ready and Dusknoir took it. Basculegion clads itself in the souls of comrades that perished before fulfilling their goals of journeying upstream. No other species throughout all of Hisui's rivers is Basculegion's equal. So if I'm reading this right, those clouds on the end of Basculegion are actual human souls that it once traveled with. And there seems to be a lot of souls hanging on to Basculegion, so I wonder how many years this Pokemon has lived for. Vulpix. In its belly burns a fire, which Vulpix spit out in the form of fireballs. When young, this Pokemon has but one white tail. As the Pokemon matures, the single tail splits into 6. This is an awesome dex entry because it's basically a callback to the pre-evolution for Vulpix that was scrapped in Pokemon Gold and Silver. Because as you can see in his beta sprite, his tail has a lot of white to it, and also there's only 3 of them, so it looks like it's splitting up into 6 tails. So this dex entry basically confirms the existence of this form, and I guess this is what Vulpix looks like when it's a baby. Magmar. Legend has it that this Pokemon was born from the crater of a volcano. When wounded, it bathes in lava to heal its body, much as one would soak in a hot spring. So this basically confirms that Entei is Magmar's daddy, because in his Pokedex entry, it states that whenever it barks, it creates a volcano. So with every volcano it creates, I guess Magmar are born from the craters. Bronzong. Some believe that his bell-like cry opens holes to another world. It has been revered as a deity since ancient times. That's really cool that Bronzong of all Pokemon was seen as a god to ancient people. And when you know the origin of this Pokemon, it makes a little bit more sense because it's based on a Dotaku, which was a Japanese bell that people would prey upon for good harvests. Gligar. Its tail is tipped by a thick, horrible stinger. To bring down prey, it will first obscure their vision by covering their faces with its body, and then it will use the stinger to inject them with venom. That's probably like top 10 worst ways to die in Pokemon. That just sounds horrible. Gligar is basically a face hugger for Prometheus. Gliscor. It glides silently on pitch black wings and seeks sharp fangs into the throat of its prey. It takes on a look of satisfaction once it has entirely drained its prey of blood. Wow, so Gligar and Gliscor are just terrifying Pokemon to die from. And what's even freakier is that Gliscor takes pleasure in killing you, while it's like slurping your blood out of you. Just nightmare fuel. Rotom. This bizarre Pokemon appears to be a will-o-wisp powered by electricity. Be wary, as Rotom is both smart and mischievous. This one kind of blew my mind because Rotom really is just a will-o-wisp powered by electricity. And it makes me wonder if this is how Rotoms are born. Like, what if a Pokemon just uses will-o-wisp and then a lightning strike just hits it and then becomes a Rotom or something? That'd be a really cool origin story. Misdreavus. It conceals itself in darkness, sending chills up travelers' spines with its childlike weeping. As it observes the frightened travelers with glee, the red orb upon its chest let off an eerie light. Okay, encountering a Misdreavus in real life would just be awful, because not only is it a floating head, but it imitates a weeping child just to mess with you. And that is something that I would not want to experience. Mismagius. The incantatious Mismagius chance can ward against misfortune, so a custom exists of inviting it into one's home. Incur the Pokemon displeasure, however, and disaster will surely ensue. So essentially, you go from being terrified of Mischievous to inviting its evolution Mismagius into your home. And if somehow you know this Pokemon, then you're just out of luck. You just invited a disaster into your house, which is pretty cool lore, honestly. Glalie. It covers its body with armor of ice harder than steel, uses its breath to freeze prey, which it then devours as if they were frozen desserts. So, basically this.
I can almost taste it.
Zoroark. With its disheveled white fur, it looks like an embodiment of death. Heedless of his own safety, Zoroark attacks its nemesis with bitter energy so intense it lacerates Zoroark's own body. So you're telling me Zoroark is naturally white, and those red tips isn't actually its fur, but its blood. Those are literally open wounds on Zoroark. No wonder it's a ghost type, because it doesn't care about lacerating itself when it attacks other enemies. That's pretty hardcore. Mesprit, known as the being of emotion. In Legend, this Pokemon was feared, as any who showed disrespect would have their emotions thrown in disarray. This really shines a new light on the Lake Trio, because I guess they were kinda corrupt back in the day. Well, except for Uxie. I wonder if they're purposely placed in caves as like an exile for misbehaving. And I also wonder if Spinda was a victim of Mesprit, because it seems pretty disarrayed. Azelf, the dreaded being of willpower. Legends tell of this Pokemon manipulating the will of his adversaries and turning them into puppets of his own. Man, it says a lot that Professor Laventon addresses it as the dreaded being of willpower. It sounds like it was a corrupted king or something that took advantage of his subordinates. I kind of feel like they should have made the Lake Trio different typings, like Uxie a psychic type, Mesprit a fighting type, and Azelf a dark type, because it seemed pretty evil. Cresselia. Cresselia is reminiscent of the crescent moon. It leaves a brilliant line of light in its wake as it flies across the night sky. I dare say it resembles a heavenly maiden who created the Milky Way. Whoa, is that a reference to a future Pokemon we'll see? Like a Pokemon that created the Milky Way? A heavenly maiden? That almost sounds like a new typing as well, like the light type. That would be so cool if they expanded the Pokemon who created the universe. Like, I feel like these Pokemon that created the galaxies would be directly under Arceus, since Arceus created the universe. It'd be a hierarchy pointing up to Arceus, kind of like the Supreme Kais from Dragon Ball. Dialga. Radiant light caused Dialga to take on the form bearing a striking resemblance to the Crater Pokemon. Dialga now wields such colossal strength that one must conclude this is his true form. No, I don't like this. It really does look like Squidward choking on a fork. Maybe that's the point though. Maybe they're supposed to look weird since they're like the first Pokemon, so of course they're gonna look alien-like to us. Palkia. It soars across the sky in a form that greatly resembles the Crater of all things. Perhaps this imitation of appearance is Palkia's strategy for gaining Arceus' power. So I guess Dialga's origin form is its first form, but Palkia's regular form is its first form, because it seems that it's imitating Arceus in this form. But it's called the origin form, so I don't know. I'm just gonna say I hate it though, because it looks awful. This is like the worst Pokemon design I've ever seen. I'm sorry, Game Freak. Shaman. Upon taking in the scent of a particular rare flower, Shaman is enveloped in light and his tiny body transforms. I took a whiff of the flower myself, but alas, my body remained unchanged. Man, what was Laventon thinking? Did he think that he would grow wings as well? But yeah, I wonder if this is another hint to a new type coming about, which would be the light type. Because right here it says it's enveloped in light, so I don't know. I could totally see Skyform Shaman being a light type though. It fit it perfectly. And there you go, 35 surprising Pokedex entries for Pokemon Legends Arceus. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hey, did you enjoy that little animated bit that I did with Roselia? Well, check out my 20 of the most ridiculous Pokedex entry video, because it's full of just animations like that. And I also have a sequel to that video as well, so there's 40 in total, so go check them out. Just click on the end card right here. And also subscribe and ring that bell.